Hello everyone. So in today's video, we are going to be doing a thorough review of one of Mackie's latest systems. So with me today, I have the Mackie Element Wave XLR. So this is a very interesting product because it is not a microphone in itself, but it allows you to use your existing XLR dynamic microphone wirelessly. So if you're in a situation now where you feel as though the XLR cable that you're connected to your microphone is a little bit cumbersome, or it makes your setup look a little bit more unclean, and you want to sort of clean up that setup and how it looks, then you can easily and conveniently do that with this system right here. But there is an important thing to note, that if you are looking for a microphone to use with this system, you have to make sure that it is dynamic in nature, as opposed to it being a condenser microphone, which requires phantom power in order for it to work. So just keep that in mind if you plan on using this system with any of your XLR microphones. Which brings me on to my next point. It is for this reason that Mackie has also provided me with one of their dynamic microphones. So with me here, I have the EM89D, which is an XLR dynamic microphone. So if you were maybe considering buying this particular microphone as well, then you're getting two birds with one stone here, because I will be using this microphone for the series of sound tests that I will be performing throughout this video. So one of the sound tests which I will do here is connecting this wireless system with this microphone into my DSLR camera directly, so that I can show you how that would perform and how it would sound firsthand. And then I will also connect it in a similar fashion to my smartphone, as some of you might be recording using that type of device. And then thirdly, I will also connect this system to my computer while using an audio interface or a mixing board. And then to conclude the video, I want to give you guys a good idea as to what the operating range is in terms of distance for this wireless system. So this is the itinerary for today's video. So if this is something that interests you, stick around. And also, if you want to as well, hit the like and the subscribe button. And with that being said, let's move on to the unboxing and the review of the Mackie Element XLR Wave. All right, so just for the time being, let's just put the EM89D off to the side for now and just focus on the Element Wave XLR. So let's just open up the box, see exactly what comes inside the box. So, okay, so right off the bat, you're getting a user manual. So if you have any concerns or questions as to how to use this system, then there is some instructions for you. The instructions are given in English, Spanish, French, and also in Dutch. So no issues there. And you're getting a nice little carrying case for your wireless system. So, and there's also a nice Mackie logo on it. The texture feels nice. It feels sturdy enough to protect the contents that are going to be inside. So let's open this up and see what's inside. Okay, so here is the system, and at the very top of the pouch, you'll see that there's also some accessories and cables that is going to allow you to use this system. So let's start off with the accessories first. So here you're getting a USB cable that is USB type A to USB type C on the other end. Now, what's really cool about this, what I'm noticing already, is that there are two USB type C cables routed to one USB type A, which means that you can charge both of these devices while using just one cable. So this is going to save you a lot of time. You won't have the need to charge one device and then after switch it over to the other. They both can complete their charging sessions at the same time. So very, very nice feature that Mackie has included this within this microphone bundle. Also, you are getting naturally some cables here. Okay, so these 3.5 millimeter cables are also labeled. So one is to connect to the device, and then the other is to be used with the smartphone. So I'm assuming that by device they mean DSLR camera as well as your audio interface. And this cable, the one that has the gray on the end, is going to be used with your smartphone. So we will be using both of these cables when I do the sound test later using the DSLR camera as well as my smartphone. So that's it in terms of accessories. Now going a little bit further into the case here, you will actually find the transmitter and the receiver. So let's start off with the transmitter here. So on the transmitter, you're going to see that there is a XLR sort of connection here. So naturally, I'm going to assume that this part is going to go into your microphone. All right. And then the other end is going to go onto your camera or onto your smartphone. So there is here a nice little clip here that you can fasten onto the hot shoe mount of your DSLR camera. And if you also have a cold shoe mount that you're using with your smartphone as well, I'm sure that this will also be able to slip into there also. So there's also a 3.5 millimeter output that you can connect to your headphones so that you can monitor the audio as you are recording. And there's also an output that you would use to connect into your smartphone or into your DSLR camera or into your audio interface if you are using the system with your PC. Okay, so using this is also very straightforward. So you're going to see that there are 3 buttons on the transmitter and 2 buttons on the receiver. So looking at the transmitter, you'll see that there is a power button, there is a link button, and there is a mute. So very simply, you can use the first button to turn on the device. The second button is going to connect the device to the receiver. And then the third one is to mute. And then on the side, if you want to increase the gain or lower the gain for the microphone, you can easily and conveniently do that simply by pressing the buttons on the side. And when I did also test this out earlier, they sync. So let's just say you're pressing the up button or the down button on the receiver or on the transmitter, they will both sync up. So this is a very nice thing. On the side of the transmitter and receiver, there is a USB Type-C port, which is where you will be able to plug in the charging cable, which comes with this microphone bundle. So that's pretty much it. As you can tell, using these devices is pretty straightforward. They're very small in size, they're very compact. So let me just give you an idea as to how small this device is by comparing it to my smartphone. Let me just do that there. Okay, give you an idea of how small it is. This is an iPhone 7 Plus. So as you can tell, it doesn't even take up half of the screen. So these devices are pretty small and compact. So with that being said, this is the unboxing for the Mackie XLR Wave. So now let's continue with the sound test. So let's start off by connecting the system to my DSLR camera while using the Mackie EM89D. Alright, so you might have noticed that the audio sounds a little bit different. This is because we have transitioned over from my lavalier microphone over to using the wireless setup with the Mackie EM89D, which, as I mentioned earlier, is a dynamic XLR microphone. So this is how it performs when the system is directly connected into a DSLR camera. Now, even though the EM89D did come with a very long XLR cable, it's not needed because we are using the wireless system. Now, you don't have to get a Mackie sort of microphone for this to work. It can work with any type of XLR dynamic microphone. So if you already have one lying around that you want to use with this system, then perfect. But if you also want to shop around, let's say to like different brands, then you can also use that with this device as long as it is a dynamic XLR microphone. All right, so this is how it performs. And if I can just comment on the setup of it, it was very easy. I took the transmitter, I connected it to the XLR microphone, and I just connected the receiver using the cable that came inside of the box into my DSLR camera. So everything that you see here right now is working in a wireless fashion. So hopefully this gives you a good idea as to how this particular setup would sound while using your DSLR camera. So with that being said, let's move on to the second part of the sound test where I will be using this whole microphone setup with my smartphone. So without further ado, let's get into that right now. Alright, so we have finally transitioned over to my smartphone device that I have here. So currently I'm using the voice recorder software on my smartphone and I'm syncing it to the video. But even if you wanted to use the camera that is on your smartphone as well, it would work in the same way. I'm using my DSLR camera for the video only because the video quality is better. So for this particular setup, it was very straightforward. I simply took the receiver and in order to have a clean look, I used a cold shoe mount. So I took the clip, placed it onto the cold shoe mount, and then I took the 3.5mm cable that was labeled smartphone, and I connected it to my smartphone here. And as you're hearing it right now, it is the wireless setup. So it is that easy to connect it to your smartphone. And hopefully this gives you a good enough idea as to how this particular combination in setup performs with your smartphone. So with that being said, this completes the sound test for the smartphone. Now let's move on to the third sound test, which is connecting this system to your PC or to your computer while using an audio interface or a mixing board. So without further ado, let's move on to the third part of this test. Alright, so as you can tell, I'm here at my desk right next to my PC. And as you are hearing me right now, you are not hearing me through the EM89D, which is what I have here set up, but you are hearing me through my lavalier microphone. But I will indicate down below when I do make the transfer and when you are in fact hearing the EM89D mounted to the wireless system. But before we do that, I want to show you how to do the setup and how to connect this microphone to your PC wirelessly. And I just want to indicate as well what software I will be using for this sound test. So I'm going to be recording in Audacity. Then I'm going to take this sound clip, insert it into the video so that you can hear firsthand and for yourself how this entire ecosystem of equipment would perform while it is connected to your PC. So with regards to the setup, I did try to connect the receiver, all right, into my PC directly, but I wasn't able to get that to work. So in order to get this to function, you will need some type of interface, either an audio interface, which is what I'm using here, or you can also use some type of mixing board that you can also connect to your PC via USB. It's also very, very, very important to note that as you are using it, that you are not using any phantom power. So make sure that the 48 volts worth of phantom power is turned off. So we will not be needing that. So in order to move forward with this process, you simply need to take your receiver and you also take the 3.5mm cable that came included with your wireless bundle. But make sure that the cable is not labeled smartphone, but it is labeled connect device, as this is the cable that you will use to either connect your audio interface or your mixer, or to connect your DSLR camera. So make sure that you're using the right 3.5mm cable. You take one end of the cable, you plug it into the output of your receiver here. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. And then the other end, naturally, you would think that it would go directly into your audio interface. Well, this is true. However, in this particular case, you're not going to find any 3.5mm port to go into your audio interface or into your mixer. So in order to remedy this issue, you simply use a 1/4 inch adapter, which is what I have here, connected into my audio interface. So basically this is a female 3.5mm jack into 1/4 inch. So what I will do is I will leave a link down below in the case that you do want to pick this up for your connection. So from your receiver, you have your 3.5mm cable, and then you take the other end of that cable, you plug it into the female portion of your 1/4 inch adapter, and then you will finally be able to plug this cable into your audio interface, just like so. So in my case, I have the gain on my audio interface set to approximately 75%. Okay, so we will be using it at that level. And now I want to go ahead to do the recording, and you will hear for yourself how this microphone setup sounds while it is connected to your PC. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is a sound test using the Mackie EM89D in unison with the Mackie Element Wave XLR wireless system. So hopefully this is going to give you a good idea as to how this ecosystem of equipment would perform while it is connected to your PC wirelessly. So I'm hoping as well that you can see the benefits of using this wireless system. So it's going to allow you to cut the wire and to have a little bit more freedom while using your XLR microphone. So as you can see here, the setup looks very clean. I have the microphone mounted onto a scissor arm stand, and I am also using a pop filter in order to limit some of the plosives. And if you would like, I'm going to post some links down below in the case that you do want to pick up a pop filter and a scissor arm stand to use with this equipment. So with that being said, let's move on to the final part of this review, where we will be using this wireless system outdoors to see what is the operating range for this wireless system. So without further ado, let's get to the last portion of this test right now. All right, so we're here outdoors. We're doing the outdoor sound test. As you can tell, I have the wireless microphone here. I'm using a foam filter this time around because we're outdoors and it's very windy. So hopefully this is doing a good job of rejecting that background wind sound. So to go on with the test, right now I would say I'm standing maybe 2 meters away from the camera, roughly. And according to the specs, the system should be able to work up to 70 meters or 230 feet. So we're going to put that to the test right now, and let's see how far away the system is capable to still operate. So as I'm going back, maybe I'll give like a rough estimate as to how far away I am. I'll probably do that in feet. So right now, I would say this is maybe 8 feet away. So let's keep going back. This will probably be maybe around 10 to 15 feet. Still a lot of distance to cover. Hopefully the sound is still working. We're still going back. I would call this maybe 20 feet now, and we're still going. Hopefully I don't trip over anything. All right, we're still going. I would probably call this a good 40 feet maybe. Okay, and we're still going. Hopefully the sound is still good. Okay. All right, still going. This is at least, I would say, maybe 60 feet or so. Okay, and we're still going back. We're still going. Hopefully that sound is still working. Hopefully that audio is still working. All right, I don't want to fall into that lake either. So we're still going. This is at least 150 feet. Okay, so now we're still going. We're still going. Hopefully that sound is still working. All right, I would say this is at least 200 feet. So 200. Now I don't really know how it sounds or at what point the audio stopped working, but I'm hoping that it worked for the full range, and I also hope that it's delivering good sound quality. All right, so that was the range test, and as you saw, the microphone was operable up until around the 150-foot range, and then at that point the sound started to cut out. But mind you, just keep in mind that this wasn't very scientific. I didn't have a tape measure, so maybe that range was actually closer to the 200-foot range as advertised by Mackie. Now, with that being said, I think even if you're getting 150-foot worth of range,
I still think that that's fantastic, and I think that's going to be good if you're maybe giving an outdoor class, maybe you're giving like yoga instructions or an outdoor gym class, or maybe if you're in a gym as well. This is going to be very good for that type of setup. So overall, for the price and for the performance that it offers, I do think that the product does perform well. And I think that this is something that I would recommend if you want to sort of use your existing XLR microphone as a wireless one. So with that being said, I want to say thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to drop them down below. And as per the usual, please like and also subscribe if you want to watch more content such as this. So until the next video, take care for now, and I'll see you at the next one.